So, hi everyone, this is Country Music News International. My name's Nigel Sharpe, and today I'm off to Georgia in the USA, interviewing Miss Callista Clark. And my very first question, yeah, there she is. My very
Hi.
first question, Callista, is, are you aware of the meaning of your name, Callista?
Yes, I am. Apparently, if you spell it with two L's, it means most beautiful.
It
Now, I
does.
don't know that I agree with that, but that's what it means.
Yeah, it's from the Greek, if nobody else knows, and it does really mean most beautiful. And so anybody watching this, you can make your own judgment on that. I'm pretty
Don't.
sure I know what the results of that's going to be, but there you go. So it's a lovely name, I must say. It's not a name I've heard before, so that's
Thank you.
another new name from my collection. So that's cool. Let's get to the music. Now, I mean, I'm looking at this picture and there's like a zillion guitars behind you and
Yes.
a keyboard, I think.
Yeah, an
So,
electric piano and
electric
then a
piano.
bunch of guitars. The instruments go all the way around the room, and
Okay.
I've done a few of these Zoom things this past year, and a lot of people think it's just like a green screen or a fake background, but it's
But it's not.
actually my room.
Right. So, how
Yeah.
many instruments do you actually play?
I believe it's 8. But that's if you count a keytar, which is just a keyboard on your hip. And yeah, just kind of, I love music. So any instrument that I can learn, I'm going to try my best to do so.
What's the first instrument you picked up?
The first instrument was ukulele, and my mom had tried to get me to play guitar some, but I was 10 at the time, so my hands were very small and I could not form chords. It just wasn't the move for me, and I gave up pretty quick at first. But then my little sister, she got a little toy ukulele from a fair or something,
Hmm.
and she started playing ukulele very fast. And she's my little sister. So when she started learning, I was like, I can learn too. So we started learning ukulele at the same time. And then I moved back to guitar. And then I kind of just, no one can stop me now. I mean, I was 11 when I started playing. So it wasn't quite that small. But
Yeah.
I was, I started playing on this one, my Martin. And I just, I don't know. I just really wanted to start off with a full sized one because I felt like it would be hard for me to transition to that because it already went from ukulele, which, is really
Yeah.
small, to guitar. And so that was already a big enough difference. So I kind of just wanted to go ahead and dive right into it and get used to it.
So, what's the story behind that purple sparkly guitar hanging on the
All
wall
right.
behind you?
Yeah, so it's a baby Taylor talking about small
Ah,
guitars.
okay.
And I gotta say, I usually lean more towards the big full body guitars, like my J200 that you can see the neck of right
Yeah,
here.
yeah.
But that one was my great granddad's. Um, and he decided one day that he was going to play guitar and went out and bought like 7 guitars or something like that, including this
Okay.
Martin right here. And then played it for about a week and then decided that he could not play guitar and wasn't musical. So he put them all up in his attic. And so they didn't. Mm, it's not in the best shape. I'll say it wasn't in the best shape anymore, but I still wanted it. It's my great granddad's, and so I have a friend out in Denver, Colorado, that does guitar art. And so I was like, okay, I can send it out to him and just hang it on my wall or something, and not actually play it. But he actually sent it out to a shop in Denver and got it worked on to where I could play it. And the only thing I told him was I like the color purple and make it sparkly. And he sent this back to me, and I am absolutely in love with this guitar. So it's
Okay.
the one I go to when I just have some kind of a sparkly, vibey day.
So, is it playable? I mean, is it easy to play?
It is, yeah. And since it's so small, it's very nice to do writes with or anything, just
Yeah.
because I can just keep it right here in front of my little desk and just do my thing. So, yeah, I love it. It's
So
perfect.
let's get on to songwriting, because you're not just playing and singing; you're also actually writing the songs.
Yes.
So how did that actually come about? Was there anything that kind of really inspired you to write a song?
Yeah. So, the first song I ever wrote started out as a poem that was a poetry contest at my school. And I ended up winning with the poem, and my mom read it and right away she thought it was a song. And so I don't know why, but at first I was like, no, I can't write a song. But the whole time in school, that was my favorite thing to do was writing. And so it, for some reason, never clicked. But so yeah, my mom read it and she was like, "This is a song," and we went from there. And then she was the first person that I kept writing with, my first co-write, I guess.
Okay.
And from there, she just kind of eased me into it and the idea of it. And then I started writing by myself. But growing up, I was very, very shy. So the whole idea of telling someone exactly how I was feeling and playing it in front of strangers was such a hard thing for me to do and something that I was not wanting to do. But the more I did it and the more I started to play and realized that people understood it and just got it and made me feel more comfortable instead of uncomfortable. Um, and I think a lot of that had to do with my age, just having people tell me that what I was feeling wasn't real. So then I was like, well, why would I write about it? And have people tell me that like, oh, you're just a kid, what do you have to say? So it was kind of hard at first, but now I love it and I can't stop doing it.
So that's the basis of Real to Me, the
Yes.
that song.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same feeling for sure.
I think actually that was the first song that I listened to from you.
Yeah,
And the other thing, of course, that struck me about that was it was your voice. It's a very powerful voice
thank you.
and very soulful as well. And I love the kind of sparse introduction. There's musically there's not actually a lot happening in terms of
Yeah.
lots of instruments. There's a lot of space in there. I like space. And
Yes.
then the voice is really takes this kind of center stage commanding presence. I'll tell you what it reminded me of, actually, as being the old guy that I am. I've been around for a long time. As I say, it was very soulful, and it actually reminded me, back when I was a teenager, of listening to soul music from the USA for the first time. And the female voice that just kind of killed us all back then was Aretha Franklin.
Yes.
So it's not that you necessarily sound exactly like Aretha Franklin, because you don't. You sound like you. But the soul that you seem to have in your voice, that's exactly the same. I think you've got a voice that moves people. That's what
Thank
I
you so
would
much.
say.
I love
And
Aretha Franklin. She's one of my favorites of all
just
time.
just
And so
magic.
thank you so much for saying that. The first song I ever learned to play on guitar was actually Chain of Fools by Aretha
Yeah.
Franklin. So yeah.
Talking about influences, I think I read somewhere that basically you could sing before you could talk.
Well, pretty much that's what I heard. But yeah, I mean, I come from a very musical family. So all my siblings, we were all the same way, like singing from the moment we could talk and harmonizing with each other. And my parents can sing, their parents can sing, so it's the whole thing. And yeah, as far as influences, I grew up singing in church, so I feel like it definitely has a lot of the gospel feeling, the
Yeah.
gospel sound to it. And then especially Real to Me, something that has that kind of soul in it. And then I love that you said Motown and soul and blues and all that because that's some of my favorite kinds of music. So influences for me would be anyone from Joss Stone to
Hmm.
like you said, Otis Redding or Eva Cassidy or 80s and 90s country, Aretha Franklin, just all the best kinds of music, in my opinion. So I'm really glad that you said that. Thank you very much.
Well, my pleasure. Yeah, talking about singing in church, I have this theory. If you have that kind of background, particularly singing in church, and you hear all these harmonies and all these people are singing these wonderful melodies, because
Mhm.
some of them really are great melodies, and this feeling of togetherness in a church, I think this has a great influence on a lot of musicians if you
I
have that
agree.
experience behind you.
I say the same thing, and it really does just teach the feeling and that, when you're performing, it's not about you, it's about the audience and whoever you're trying to get to feel it and get to relate to it. That's who it's about. And so I feel like church does a really good job of that because obviously it's not for you, it's for God. So I mean it's really helped me and it's just been a really great place to grow up at. and be
Yeah,
singing.
it's a sharing kind of atmosphere, isn't it?
Yeah.
And
And I feel like that's something that's really important to be an artist. You kind of have to know that. It's not about you,
yeah.
it's about the audience. So I feel like that taught me that.
What is the studio process for you? I mean, let's say you've sat at home and written a song. How does that get arranged? Does someone do that for you, or do you have like input into how you want that song to sound?
Yes. So all the songs in this collection and what I've been doing a lot for the last 3 years is co-writes. And so you go into a room, obviously now it's through Zoom, through a computer, but you used to go into a room with writers, usually 2 or 3 people. And I usually go in with an idea. And when I have an idea, I know how I want it to sound. I know what kind of music I'm going to use as my inspiration. And I know just all of that. And I go in with a clear mindset and I'm like, okay, let's get the best song we can today. Even if it's more pop, even if it's more soul, more Motown, more super country, more rock, more grunge, whatever it is, we just go in, we get the best song. And so then you build a demo, and usually those are pretty close to what the final sound will be. And then Nathan was my producer for this, Nathan Chapman, and he just understood it. He got it. And I didn't even have to say anything. I didn't have to have any critiques at all. There wasn't any suggestions from me. I can promise you that. He just is a genius and he got it really quick. And it was super fun to work with him.
Anyway, so we're going to have to wind this up, I'm sad to say. Callista, it's been lovely talking to you. We thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. And as I say, this Country Music News International is for people over here and the rest of Europe, but there's plenty of folks over in the States who kind of follow it as well. So I hope it's of some use to you, and I hope you enjoyed talking to us.
I have. Thank you so much for letting me do this. It's been so much fun.
My pleasure. And there's Archie again. So
was
we're
trying
going
not
to
to,
say,
I was trying not to butt in while you were recording, sir.
that's
But
okay.
thank you so much. It's amazing. Thank you, Callista. That was amazing.
Right.
Thank you.
So,
My children are having bath time in the background, which is what
oh,
they're screaming
good.
about. I'm sorry about that.
You're not going to join them then.
No, I have to go and talk so in a minute.
Okay.
Look, thank you
So
so much.
I'll say thanks very much again indeed to Callista and also to Archie over there in London. My name's Nigel Sharpe for Country Music News International, and I'm going to say thank you all and goodbye.